On this episode of the Mompreneur Show, I'm talking to Cindy Collins. She is a wife and mom of 3 boys and an owner of an incredibly amazing handmade products that she makes from her home and that she sells online, and we'll talk a lot more about that. I'm your host, Vicky, and this is the show that features amazing stories of the most remarkable mom entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey Cindy, welcome to the show.
Hey Vicky, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for coming on. It's such a pleasure to finally have you on the show.
Yes, thanks for having me.
So Cindy, let's get started and talk about your journey. How did you get started? Because when I was talking about the show on social media, I was telling our listeners that you started your business with a baby on your hip. And I love that because that's exactly the words that you used and how you started your business. So I would love for you to elaborate more and talk about the journey and how did you start your business with a baby on your hip?
Sure. So it was kind of a bit of a process to get to where I am now. But in the nutshell, originally before I was an herbalist and making product, I was a breastfeeding counselor locally here at Hospitals First. And then I was a birth doula. And then I just was making herbal products on the side, really just as a hobby, really for my own family. And then it was for my friends. And then it was for people in my community. And then it was for my doula clients. So that's really how it started. And then I would go to craft shows and farmers markets and just make stuff and sell it. And it was just a hobby because I liked making stuff. So I started selling on Etsy in 2010, I think it was. And then it was very different than it is now. I'm no longer on Etsy anymore, but I even had jewelry on there and just kind of random stuff that I liked creating and crafting at that time.
Really interesting. But this is pre-kids, right?
No. So I had 3 boys.
So
this is all with my 3 children.
Oh my gosh. So you were already like in the thick of it while making things on the side. And I love that you shared that you love to do that because a lot of moms, like yesterday, I just chatted with my cousins and they were saying, well, how do you find, a business? How do you find like what you want to do as a business for income? And I obviously thought about you, like you absolutely love doing this. And a lot of times, like you can see what it is that you want to do by looking what you love to do, like personally, and I love that you shared that you were making it and just selling it on the side. And
right.
Did you ever think that you will have customers all over the world?
I didn't. Well, this wasn't a business that I planned to start it. I had 3 businesses at one time. So
Can you talk to me about that? Like what?
Sure.
3 businesses?
So I was a birth doula and I was attending births and I had clients regularly. And then on top of that, I was also doing photography. So as I was becoming a birth doula, I really got into photography and pursuing that professionally, which was a really fantastic but cumbersome job being a professional photographer because there's so much you have to learn. And so as I was pursuing photography, the herbal business was just a hobby. Like I didn't think anything about it, didn't take it seriously by any means. So I really wanted to pursue photography and being a birth doula and doing birth photography. And that's really was my heart with that. But over time, after the 3rd child was born, I think sometimes when you have 3 children and 3 boys, there's just a revelation that occurs like, you know what? I don't think I can raise 3 children and be a stay-at-home mom and have 3 businesses. Like this isn't working too well. So realized that my time, I didn't have more time than other people as much as I wanted to try to think that I did, or I can make more of my time. It just wasn't realistic. So I eventually just had to simplify, and I had to stop. I had to give up the passions that I loved, and I still love them so much, but I kind of really had to surrender those, which is a really hard thing to do. Saying I can't attend births, I can't be on call. My husband works full-time and part-time, and he was pursuing his master's degree. So I just said, I'm going to have to let that go. And over time, then photography just stopped bringing me the joy that it did originally. And I just said, I'm not looking forward to this anymore. I'm not getting excited about it. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, it's not bringing me the joy that it used to. So I just and I had to let that go too as well. Like, it just became those things became more of a hindrance and an inconvenience to my herbal business that was growing. and to my family. Whereas the herbal business grew so easily and it came so naturally and it just fits so well into my life and to my family's lifestyle. And it just became where I could grow it in ways that I never imagined.
I love that so much. So you looked at your 3 businesses and you're like, which one best works with my family and which one am I most passionate about? And I love that. I'm so happy that for you that aligned, that your passion and what works for your business, for your family. And that's so important. And ladies who are watching us live, it is so important to make sure that your business aligns with your family and not the other way around. I literally just read an article just earlier, a couple hours ago, about how you have to align your lifestyle, your business lifestyle business around your family. And I'm like, yes, that's it. Because when you align the other way around, you got your priorities wrong. So
and the other thing I had to ask myself was like, what is the one thing that only I can do? Like, because there's so many photographers and it's fairly easy to become a birth doula. I thought, what is the one thing that I can make the difference on? Like, I can help encourage and mentor other doulas, and I hosted a workshop to help get more doulas on my community. So what is the one thing that I am really called to that nobody else can do, that I feel that I'm really called to? And so as much as I love photography, I thought, you know, there are so many people that can be photographers and fill that demand and fill that industry and be available in my community. There are many other women in my community that could be birth doulas. So what is the one thing that only I can do? And the difference that I was making in my customers' lives, I'd be so sad to give that up. Like the difference that I heard from my customers and my clients that I was doing for them, I thought I would mourn the loss of letting that go.
I love that you said that. You put a huge responsibility on yourself. Like, I owe this to the world. Like, I love doing this. And okay, can we talk a little bit about your product? Because I did not go into detail in the intro, and I want you to rave about it because I see you reposting stuff about what your customers post, like literally just reposting it with the repost app on Instagram. And the things that they say is incredible. So please share what your product is and what it does for your customers.
Sure. So I make a lot of different herbal products, from a lot of medicinal herbal teas, a lot of herbal salves, and I also make herbal lactation blends, which is really, I think, what my brand is best known for. I make about 30 different products, but 4 of my products accounts for most of my business. And so I have 4 different lactation blends, and those really came later, after the birth of my 3rd child. Like, I had herbal teas before and herbal salves before, which I've perfected the formula over years of trying to get it right and really make a nice formula. But the herbal lactation blends didn't come till later, and it just was really a progression thing of customers asking me if I could make this. I would say, sure, why not? I think I can. I'll give it a try. And then I would make another, like my first formula is Dairy Fairy, used to be called Dairy Queen. And someone would say, can you make me a formula without fenugreek? I'd say, sure, I think I can. Why not? I'll give it a try. And then I created Dairy Diva. And someone said, could you make me a formula that's low hormonal? And I'd go, that did not stimulate their hormone receptors. And I said, I think I can. Sure, why not? I'll give it a try. And so then I would try to make another formula and create an alternative formula. And I didn't anticipate making those lactation blends, what they were going to do for my business. And I had no idea the impact they would create. And of course, when I created them, I would send them out. I would get testers from different backgrounds and different health experiences for different women to try these things to see how well it worked for them. So I could see, okay, is this formula working? And is this something that I could sell? Is there demand for this before I release it on the market to see its effectiveness and its potency?
Incredible. So first, so many remarks, so many questions. So first, I think I can. That is so powerful. And it reminds me of the book, you know, the train, Thomas the Train? Is that
Thomas the Train, yeah.
And I think I can. I think I can.
No, the little engine that could. It's the little engine that could.
Yes, it's the little engine that could.
We're
yes,
such
thank
moms,
you.
Thomas the Train.
Such moms. So the little engine that could said, I think I can. I think I can, even though it was too big for him the load was too big for him to carry, or the hill was too high for him. And he thought he could, and he did it. And so I love that you shared that with us. And you know, there's so many different business avenues, business decisions that we can make. But the fact that you were so open-minded and we're like, I think I can. Why not? I will try.
Yeah.
Or you could have been like, you know what? I already have 20 other products. That's good enough. Go find that somewhere else. But
Yeah.
it's so obvious that your heart is in it. And that
Yeah.
is so incredible to me, Cindy. And I wish that every single person on a planet did business like you did, honestly. Incredible.
Thank you.
So how did you go out and find these testers? Were they your previous clients already? Or customers?
Some of them were. So some of them were either clients in my local community. Some were people, just friends that I knew online for many years. And I knew their background and their history in lactation and breastfeeding and their own unique experiences.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I want to pull from a wide range of experiences, from different conditions, how old their baby is, how many children they've nursed.
Yeah.
And I just said, I want to offer this to you at a really low cost, free shipping. I just want you to try it and give me back your feedback. And so that's how I would do with a new formula I would launch. So as I went into my third formula, which was Milk Machine, and then Lush Leche, then I would pull from some of my best regular customers and go, hey, I've got a new formula here. Or I would actually create a sign-up form, and I would have a limited number of tester spots and say, here's a new formula I want to try. Can you sign up for it? I'm offering I think it was 50 testers or something like that, or whatever number it is, testers and different criteria. And then I would say, all right, I'm going to send it to you. And then I would send it to them at a low cost and just let them apply and then just survey them afterwards and just gather some data and see about their background and how it worked for them.
So systematic. Okay, so first you have maybe a VIP list or something on your email list? Is that how you reached out to them?
No. I would just go into at that time it was probably Etsy. Then you could see who your frequent buyers are and their order history. And then at the time, maybe then it's been a long time since I've been on Etsy.
Yeah.
But then it was Store Envy. I moved from Etsy to Store Envy because I kind of outgrew Etsy, and I just didn't want to. I didn't like how they changed the things about herbal products. And so I want to move to Store Envy. And so then I would just pull up, people that I knew are regular buyers. I know their name. I know who they are and they come into my mind. And because sometimes I have ongoing conversations with them over the years. So I just kind of have a memory like that where they will come back to me after their second or third child. And so if I'm releasing a new product, maybe I'm like, oh, I want, Jessica in Texas. I know she's got this with her third baby and I want her to try this or something like that.
Yeah.
So I would just kind of put it out to my newsletter list and let them know, hey, I'm releasing this new product. I'm opening up for testers. If you're interested, can you fill out this form? And then I'd actually go through and hand select testers. So I had a wide range of people.
Wow. Okay. So after they received your product, they test it. How do you make sure that it's an accurate test? So maybe for example, I might exaggerate, or someone might not give it its full value, or say, I took this other supplement as the same time and I think my supplement worked. And how do you, what's your survey like to get the best results?
So sometimes I might ask them questions about what products or supplements they have been taking in the past. What were they currently taking at the time? Were they taking anything in conjunction with the product? What was the duration that they actually took the product, or how long they used it? What results did they experience? And that might be results from, especially notes for lactation. Lactation, there's so many variable factors that go into that. So I might ask them questions about, okay, their baby's weight gain, or their baby's diaper output, their wet diaper output, or I might ask them about their pumping output, or I might ask them about other physical factors like did they experience fullness of breast, or letdown, or the composition of their milk change, or any other thing. So I might ask them a slew of questions and kind of see, okay, all right, a lot of women, generally, not every herbal supplement doesn't work the same for everybody because we're all so unique and different.
Exactly.
So I think a good bit of, especially with my core customer base of loyal customers, they have that good understanding because we've worked over the years to develop a trust and a relationship with one another. Yes. So we can have that open, honest dialogue, and they let them also give back just open dialogue and feedback about what worked for them, what they didn't work for, or maybe if they tried other products in the past, whether they were from my company or other companies, whether products worked better for them. So I could just get a better idea. If they tried this product, was there something else that worked better for them? Whether it was an herbal supplement or a prescription for lactation.
Very, very interesting. So you put a lot of time and effort into this.
I have. I have. I mean, I'm due to do surveys again because it feels like it's been a long time.
Yeah.
And so much has happened in the last several years. But yeah, that's how I did it when I launched my last 2 products.
Wow. Okay. So I want to talk about branding. I want to talk about the FDA. Like, did you have did you have to have the FDA look over your product? Like, is there, like, what's the entry level there?
So when somebody is making an herbal product to release on the market, whether it is to sell on Etsy or to a farmer's market, you don't currently have to send your products to the FDA to be reviewed and tested in advance. So anybody can release any products on the market. It's all about how you describe in your labeling and on your website if you treat, heal, or diagnose anything like that.
Wow.
Now, I'm not quite as savvy about all the FDA just yet. I'll have more information about that as I'm learning. I just joined the Natural Products Association, so I can work with some of their former FDA agents to get a better grasp and understanding about how herbal supplements and botanicals, when they're released to the market, because I haven't released my products to the market as far as retail and wholesale goes.
Very interesting.
It's just direct to customer. That's all.
That's very interesting. And I love that you can just get up and go. Like,
you can, but that also makes, you really have to make, the consumer really has to be aware and ask the right questions. And so it's kind of on the responsibility of the consumer. Like, you have to know what questions to ask. And sometimes you don't know what questions to ask. Like, is this, the product's natural, but is it safe? It's not always the same thing. Just because it's natural doesn't always mean it's safe. Are there contraindications? Are there adverse reactions? Because contraindications and adverse reactions are not the same thing either. They're different things. So sometimes there has to be the consumer has to do their own research and, take their own responsibility for their own health and well-being too.
Exactly. Because, you're dealing with herbs. They can, you have to really use them carefully. Yeah. And I love that you have background in your herbalist. Like, how cool is that? Like, that's amazing. And I feel like everything in life is like so aligned, and we might not even know what it's for, but it just happens. Amazing.
Right.
And of course you worked really hard for this. So I want to talk about branding, because your branding is so beautiful, and so many of your customers also comment on it, and they're like, oh, I'm so excited to get this beautiful batch of products, because it's really so beautiful to look at. Like, how did you, because like when people start their own businesses, they want to go big right away.
Oh my goodness.
Did you have this branding from the very beginning, or did you work yourself up?
No, oh my goodness, you have to go back and look at my old products and what they look like. It's hilarious, but I'm not ashamed of it. I'm so proud of it because it's changed so much. I printed all my labels at home on my printer, and I used scrapbook cutters to punch them out and put them on there. And there was no fancy, it was just Avery labels, and that's all it was. And there was no thought of branding. It was just here's the product name, here's the description, and here's the ingredients, and that's all. Yeah. I didn't think about branding. Probably I didn't really think much about branding until around the time photography really started me thinking a lot about marketing and branding. And I designed the first probably 3 revisions of my own labels myself until about, I think it was last year. Wow. 2015. Wow. I think it was 2015. That sounds about right. When I just, I probably should hire a label designer. And that really made, I searched out and I was I need to find a designer, because I think this is something I could do it, but I don't want to do it. And I'm not the best person for the job. I'll do okay. People don't complain about my labels, but I thought I want something better than what I can do. So that's when I went out and said, I need to hire a designer. And so I went out and found a designer, and we worked together to create, we first redesigned my lactation labels. And then we went and designed, I think, my salve labels after that, and then my tea labels. And I have a couple more products that we have to finish redesigning the labels for. But I didn't know what I wanted. And so when I found my designer...
So where did you find your designer?
I found her on 99 Designs. Yeah. Literally 99 Designs. And I went...
So did you run a campaign, or did you just find her?
I didn't. Actually, not for that. I went through portfolios, and I looked through all the people that had specialty for product packaging and label designs. Gosh. And I said, I want that designer. I don't know what they charge. I don't care, but that's the one that I want, because I love her portfolio.
Okay, my mind is blown. I'm currently working with a client, and we're, part of the marketing is to make everything come together. And one of the things that they're working on is label development and their packaging development. And we're working on a 99 Designs campaign, but I'm oh my gosh, what an incredible way to just go around, pick the designer that maybe won a few designs, maybe has had, because they review on 99 Designs, and you can, oh my gosh, that is a sneaky, super smart way to pick a designer. I love that.
It's so easy. Well, and so I did the first run of my lactation line. Yeah. So that was four labels. So we could really test that. And so when I got the results of the potential designs that I had, I think there's like 5 results. And I really liked them. The one that I really liked, I was like, oh, I love this one, but this will be hard to brand long term. So I immediately eliminated that one. And so the 4 of them, there's one that I loved. I said, you know what? I know which one I love, but I don't know which one my customers are going to love. So then I sent it all out to my newsletter list and said, you guys need to vote. Take a vote on what is the one that you like the most. And then I went and surveyed groups of where I know where my customers would be and said, can you please go vote? I want you to go vote on this. And so the one that got the majority of the vote, I said, well, that's a clear winner. That's not the one that I would pick, but that's the one that my customers want.
Wow, that is so interesting. And, in previous episodes, we've had people come and talk about like basing your business or like going backwards kind of and looking at your business from the eyes of your customer. But it's so hard to do. Like, it's so hard to imagine, like, how would I just go and look through the eyes of my customers? But the fact that you ask them, that is exactly what you do. That's how you look from the eyes of your customers. Right. You ask and you get the data from them. I love that you shared that with me.
Right.
I want to pause, Cindy, for a second, and I want to just say thank you so much for all the ladies that are joining us. Brittany Baker, thank you so much for joining us. Tyron Goodwin, thank you so much for joining us. Stephanie Risinger. You know what? Let's stick to the first names.
Hey, I know some of those girls on there.
Yes, and a lot. Okay, so all of them are raving about you, Cindy.
Oh, nice. They're so sweet.
Let's see. Hannah-Lore. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful name. She said, love Cindy's product. Being a brand ambassador with her was amazing. Oh, that's awesome. And thank you so much, Hannah-Lore, for saying that, because I really want to talk to Cindy about that as well, because I know she has this beautiful page on her website about brand ambassadors, and we'll talk about that in a sec. Katie said, Cindy is the best. I've been using her products for years and love them all. And then Hannah-Lore also said, the tea labels and bags are the best. Resealable bags for tea are an awesome idea, and I want to go back to that as well. And then Heather said, Cindy teaches me so much from her example. Heather, I love that you said that. It's true. Like, we can learn so much from people who are doing amazing things just by looking at what they're doing and them being an example for us. I love that you mentioned that. And Mana said, Cindy is genuinely amazing. Oh my gosh, Cindy, you have so many raving fans here.
They're so sweet.
And I want to go back to what Hannah-Lore said. I probably mispronounced that. I'm sorry, sweetheart. About a brand ambassador. So that is obviously one of the ways that you spread the word around about your product. But can you share more about how you came about it and how do you do that? Like, how did you systemize a way to bring those people on?
Sure. So it was probably about 2.5 years ago. I think I just started on Instagram and just started sharing stuff about, it was kind of a mix on my Instagram then about my personal life and a little bit about my business and products I'd make. And I can't remember, I must have came across a really large company who had brand ambassadors. I said, well, why can't I do that? That's my first thing. Why can't I use that model and somehow make it my own that works for me? And so then how did I create it? I think I created it first. I did like a 6-month term for the first round of brand ambassadors. And I quickly realized that's way too long. Yeah. Like, who can be engaged for 6 months? That's a really long term. Mm-hmm. So then I shortened it to 3 months, and that was still way too long. And so I think I made an application. That's what I did. I created an application to ask questions. Like, okay, like, what's their Instagram name? I don't have a requirement of followers. I don't care if they're an influencer. Like, to be a brand ambassador, that's like, their following is so irrelevant to me to be a brand ambassador. If they're passionate about what they're doing and passionate about products and passionate about sharing and helping other women, that's all they really need to be a great brand ambassador. So I just created an application, let them apply, let them checked out their Instagram accounts, and then I would typically choose 10 to 15 people several times a year. I try to do it about 10 times a year if I have enough energy, but since I'm currently my only full-time employee, sometimes that requires a lot for me to do every month to stay that engaged. So then I would just choose people, and then just encourage them and just to give them guidelines on how to be a brand ambassador and how to find my ideal customers, how to create authentic conversations, and how to recommend products, and just share about their own unique experience on their profile. Just share about the products that they loved and what worked for them.
That's amazing. What a way to create a beautiful sense of community. And no wonder your business has grown so much over the past couple of years, because you really take care of your customers and your ambassadors, which is so amazing. So, like, for example, can an ambassador who has been an ambassador, can they be ambassador again?
They can, but usually I allow like a gap, because I've had over 1,000 people apply to be a brand ambassador. So I can't choose people every month. It's really hard because there's so many people that apply.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest thing choosing people, because I want to choose everybody and give everybody the opportunity to be a brand ambassador. Yeah. So I usually, if they will, there'll be several months gap, or maybe they'll apply again after they have their next child, and I'll choose them again, because I just want to give people more of the opportunity to become a brand ambassador and earn free product. And so I just really want to make sure, okay, well, you've done it before in the past, let me choose new people this round. And then I'll try to choose new people every time, because if they're continually brand ambassadors, life happens, and we're busy moms with kids and lives. Maybe we have jobs, and it's hard to stay that engaged for a long period of time and continue with life. And so I just try to choose new people and just do 1 month at a time.
I love that. That's awesome. And I'm like, my gears are turning now. I'm like, how can I use this model for the show? So that's amazing. And you live listeners, mamas who are watching us live right now, get your gears turning as well. Like, ask yourself, how can I apply this to what I'm doing now? It doesn't have to be a product per se. It can be something different. And anything that you learned today, like, see how you can apply it to your business. All right, back to the questions. Hannah Laura mentioned the tea bags, that they're resealable. Did you have this grand idea and come up with a resealable bag, for your product right away, or was it kind of like an evolving thing for you?
Oh my goodness, no. So when I first started doing tea, it's so funny. I actually used to press and seal individual tea bags for the longest time, right? How horrible was that? I don't know why I did it. So then I quickly moved to loose tea because I said, I can't seal individual tea bags with my iron. This is terrible. So
poor thing.
I know. No, we used to separate capsules by hand individually before I bought pre-separated. I'm just telling you, I did it always the hard way first before I realized there was an easier, better way.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh, that's right. Capsules come put together.
Yeah, so they come together, and I would buy them together, because pre-separated at the time I thought it would cost too much money. It was extra money. So I would then, bless her heart, my first assistant Madeline, she would have to pre-separate these capsules. Oh man, I've apologized to her, but if she's listening, I'm sorry, Madeline. I'm sorry I made you do that. So we would pre-separate the capsules. Anyways, I buy them now pre-separated. Actually, I don't even buy them now. My manufacturer, he makes my capsules, which is a whole other thing.
Okay, let's talk about that. I want how you got to this point where you have customers all over the world. The demand is high. You obviously can't keep up with all the work.
Right.
How did you find a manufacturer, and how did you work everything out? That's a lot of logistics. Oh my goodness.
It is. So I'm a year now into manufacturing my lactation blends. So last year in summer, we were just getting so busy, and I had 4 to 5 of us making capsules, and I would grind. I'd hopefully get some of the herbs pre-powder, but some of them I'd have to grind, and then I'd have to mix all my formulas, and then we'd have to make capsules, and we were always behind. And I just said, God, something has to change. I can't keep working this way. This is a mess. This isn't working, and I can't grow, and this is way too much stress.
Exactly.
And so I went up to go to the South Bronx to go look at this machinery place. I'd never been to the South Bronx before. I said, I'm going to drive there, and I'm going to go there and look at this machinery place and see what they have to offer. And they actually didn't have the machine that I wanted. They were a distributor. And so they're like, we can order it from you from Texas, this model. And I was like, okay, can you get me some information? They said, meanwhile, you need to go to the Natural Products Expo in Baltimore next month. You got to go check it out. And I said, I've never been. I will go check it out.
Wow.
And which blew my mind, because I'm walking there with a handmade business that started on Etsy. And I'm kind of at this really huge transition point of, I don't know where to go from here, but something has to change in my business to move forward. And so when I walk in there, there's global brands, there's buyers, brokers, distributors, manufacturers, and I'm going, oh gosh, I hope nobody asks me what I'm doing or what I'm making because I'm so terrified. I was just terrified to talk about my business. And then I went to speak to the people at Capsule Gel, who make my capsules, and talk to them. I said, listen, I get my capsules from you guys. I think I do. And I said, I need better quality capsules. And I need a machine. Can you guys sell me a machine? And I was like, do you guys offer this? I don't even know what to ask you. And they're like, wait, you're doing this in your home and you're shipping to how many countries? I was like, yes. And they were just kind of blown. I was like, we're doing this all by hand, but I can't do it by hand anymore. It's just too much. And so then they put me in connection with a guy who used to work for them who left to start his own small business filling capsules. They said, maybe he can help you choose a machine or train you how to use a machine, or maybe he can help you. And I was like, that sounds great. I don't know, but it will be helpful. So I called him and we connected, and he was just like, I don't know why, but I'm going to offer you this deal, this special package pricing. He's like, I don't do this normally. And I'm like, I know why. This is divine. This has to happen. The doors have opened. This is divine. And and it was just amazing. So I worked with him to get my formulas to him, tell him how I want them blended. And my first batch was 400,000 capsules. So I took my first 6 months of capsules that I sold and doubled that. And I thought, this will be enough. 400,000 capsules is a lot of capsules. And it was, and it is. It really is. And I thought, this is enough. And then we sold out quicker than anticipated. I was like, oh no, well, I wasn't expecting that. So then in July, we had 1.3 million capsules made. Actually, I went to New Jersey. So I went to New Jersey the first batch. I said, I have to go to your facility. I have to meet you. I have to know where everything is being made. I have to see it being made, because it's so hard as a handmade business to release part of a process. Because we still get our capsules in. We still sort them and count them and label jars. But to release that part of the process was nerve-wracking. It was so vulnerable. And so I said, I have to go meet him. After phone calls and conversations and emails, so we met. And I saw that he has a small business. There's 5 or 6 people working there. And I actually brought back some of my lactation blends with me in my van with my kid. We drove 4 hours, my toddler. And I was like, oh my, bless his heart. I got him some toys at Target, and I got him movies, and he was so good. He was golden. But I was like, I have to go and get my lactation blends, and you can just ship the rest to me that I can't carry on my van, And so in July we had 1.3 million made, and now we're getting ready to end this year, hopefully have about 4 million made.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And so this reminds me, seek and ye shall find. You really seeked out. You had no idea what questions to even ask, but you pushed forward anyways. Yeah. And the vulnerability that I don't know which questions to ask, but I'm gonna do this. And it's just so inspiring. It's keep pushing, keep asking, keep seeking, because the answer, the right door is around the corner.
Right. Keep asking questions. Someone will have the answer. Now I'm asking questions from when I'm trying to source about 5,800 pounds of herbs for my next batch. Oh my gosh. And it's really hard because some suppliers that I started with, I've outgrown them. Some importers and trip, I'm going, who do I get 1,200 pounds of moringa from? I don't even know. I can't believe I'm asking myself this question. Who do I find this from? Or who do I find 800 pounds of this herb from? Who has that quantity and that inventory? So now as I'm asking questions and finding suppliers, and now I'm asking questions, where are you getting herbs from? How do you know they're certified? I don't know, asking them all kinds of questions that they really don't want to answer me, which will be a problem for them later on, because I'm at some point, I will no longer have to deal with distributors or importers, because then I will become the importer.
Exactly.
I will become the distributor. Forget the middleman at this point, because nobody's answering my questions.
Oh my goodness, I can totally envision you going to Germany, going to New Zealand, or wherever it might be, and actually knocking on the door of the farmer and saying, what do you have? What can you sell me?
Right.
That's
I'm serious.
That is incredible. And work a vacation in there as well.
Right. A European family vacation would be pretty sweet.
Oh my goodness. I love that. Cindy, you're incredible. Okay. So how can you share with me, you have this business, you worked on it part-time, most of the 7 years, most of it was part-time. You had some assistants.
Mm-hmm.
How were you able to juggle the assistants, the work, the 3 boys? And boys, I feel are so hard when they're young, when they're under 13, because I hear the girls are the harder ones when they're teenagers. But feel like boys are so hard, and like you also have to be a wife and a mom and everything.
Yep. Sorry.
No
I gotta turn that phone off.
No worries. It's the real life of a mompreneur. Oh my gosh, that should be a show. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So how do I juggle it, you said?
Yeah, how do you juggle it? Like, how do you be a wife and a mother and...
You fit it in when you can. So literally it might be like, okay, so Silas, my last born, he is the baby, okay? He's not a napper, he doesn't sleep. So whenever he would get a nap in, if I squeeze something in, whether it's making tea or making salve or whatever, there's not like a certain amount of time, like, oh, I'm only working from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. consistent time. It's 15, 20 minutes, an hour here, or after they go to bed. It's whenever you can fit it in. Wow. And that's how I did it. So it's a lot of late nights, or during nap time. You just fit in what you can, when you can, and you make it work. As crazy as it is. So they were home all last week because of Thanksgiving break, and so they played a lot of iPad, and I'm like, this is not the week for this to happen because it's Thanksgiving week, and I've got a lot to do, and I've got a small business Saturday sale coming up, and there's just a lot of, like right now we have about almost 300 orders pending shipment, so we have to ship those all this week. In the next couple of days they'll all be shipped in the next few days. But with kids, when I could, and I would try to let them help me the best they could given their age and their skill ability. So whether they're helping to stamp boxes, or sometimes my 8-year-old he loves helping me make tea, but it's not fun for me, but I let him because I want to give him the opportunity. So it's a bit painful at times, but I want them to give them the opportunity to work and earn.
So those of you who are watching us live, go look up Cindy on Instagram, and you just search up Euphoric Herbals, and her it's right under her name, right under her video. Look that up and go to a video, like one of the recent videos that you shared of your boy. What was it?
He was heat sealing my jars. Yeah, I don't think people realize how handmade it is. Like people think probably like there's so many people in the e-commerce industry that don't make their products and they drop ship. But I tell you, everything is made by hand. Like, I'm literally not kidding. Not the capsules anymore. Those are made in a facility, which is fantastic. But everything else, like the labels on the bags and blending the teas, and
it's incredible. And I loved what you wrote there. Like, one son said this, and another wasn't happy that you're paying him what you're paying.
I'm not paying him enough. Yeah. He wanted to know. He says, how much do my 2 assistants that I currently have, how much do they make an hour? Because I know he's thinking, if I can do what they do, then I can earn what they make. And I'm like, they make more than you. The end. How much they make is none of your business.
I love that so much because I feel like I'm a little too open with my kids sometimes.
Yeah.
And I would probably tell them, but it's not for them to know. Like,
no.
Just be happy and thankful for what you have. And I love that you're giving them this opportunity. And like you wrote, their future employers will thank them. Their future husbands and wives will thank them, excuse me, your voice. Totally. Like, hands down, you're raising an incredible generation while building this beautiful business and helping so many thousands of women around the world.
And on top of that, they already know a lot about birth and breastfeeding and babies and placentas, so they're all good. Like, they're good. Now, if I can get them to cook, oh my, they're going to be the best catch ever.
I love that. There's always that. So, Cindy, I can talk to you forever. We're like way past our time.
Okay.
And I'm so sad to let you go. But I'm so thankful at the same time that you took this time and shared with us the beautiful journey that you have lived.
Yeah. And I do want to encourage the customers to come over to my Instagram, my Facebook page, because I'm building a studio to move my business into so they can follow that journey as I move into my first studio. Because I know this is not the end of it. Like where I'm moving into, how I built the studio, not by hand. I didn't do that by hand. But the process of like, okay, how do you scale up a handmade business, and how do you know when you need to expand, and move in that journey, in that direction, so they can kind of follow that, ask questions if they have as well.
Cindy, thank you so much. And I remember you sending me a photo of the beautiful shop that was in construction. And did you guys already move in there? No. Like there's electric and insulation, all that stuff has to go in. So hopefully by the end of this year,
If not, it'll be next year, but it will be happening soon. I'm one day closer than I was yesterday.
I love that positive outlook, and I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much,
I
Vicky.
love that you said it's your first. Oh my gosh, I love it.
It is. Me and my husband, we talk about the next commercial space we move into, because when I'm out of the studio, he says he gets the best man cave ever.
Oh, I love that.
Honey, I don't care. You do whatever you need to do. It's all you.
I love that so much. All right, Sandy. Well, thank you so much, sweetheart. Have an amazing day.
Thank you.
Ladies, oh my goodness. I just can't stop smiling. This was incredible. Sandy is absolutely amazing. Like, this is someone that you absolutely have to follow, buy her product, because you know her heart is in there, and follow her if you're a product-based business. This is the most beautiful example of a product-made business. Like, she has customers all over the world raving. You guys, not just like, oh cool, yeah, it helps. They're raving about her products, and she's helping the whole world. She's helping mamas feed their babies. I remember how it was, like, when my milk wasn't coming in and I had to feed my baby, and my doctors told me I have to feed formula. But like, I wish I knew Cindy then. So ladies, if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends. Share it with a loved one. Maybe share a product with a loved one who you know is struggling with lactating. So I really, really hope that you enjoyed this, and I thank you all so much for joining us on the Mompreneur Show today. And I hope that you will join us live next Monday, every single Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook Live.